Right, what are we doing today? Well, this is a Remoska, and I'm going to do a spaghetti. There's 100 grams per person, so it's me and the wife, that's 200 grams. I'm going to do that, and then separately I'm going to make my own tomato sauce, which is there, and I'll show you that on the Remoska. Should take about, I don't know, say 30 minutes, 40 minutes. And what I've got in there is about 4 pods of garlic and olive oil. And I'm going to put that on the tomatoes when I roast them to give them the flavour. So I'm just putting that on now. I just realised, of course, right, I'm putting those in there. Now it's important with the Remoska that's in there. It's important with the Remoska to make sure the tomatoes, let me show you, the tomatoes are fairly compact together. So I'll carry on doing that now. Let's see if I can get a better picture in the, that might be a better picture. Right, so there's the garlic and oil, olive oil being placed on them. And you do these under the heat until they got slightly brown, the tomatoes, and they're well nice and soft and well cooked. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the sauce, or the tomato sauce, accordingly. Right, so that's in there now. I've got other tomato sauces that I'm going to be making of different types, and when I grind them, I'm going to use this. You put the tomatoes in there, you turn a handle, and you slowly mash them, and the juices come out, leaving the skins and all that behind. I'll be doing that. In this pan here, I'm going to fry the ingredients that go with the sauce that are going to be added on top of the spaghetti. And to make the spaghetti, this is what my take on a marinara. It's a mixed squid, prawns, mussels, squid, and they're going to be mixed with the sauce and then put on top. It's my take on a marinara. I mean, you know, in Italy they just slap a load of tomato juice on it. So there we go, that's going to be it. I shall put that on there now. I might put a little bit of seasoned lightly, not much. I'll just put a little bit of pepper on it. Well, first of all, a bit of salt first. That's the fine sea salt. Just a sprinkle, not too much, because there's cooking that's going to be done. So that's that. And now what I'll do is I'll put a little bit of black ground pepper. That's it. And then it'll be ready to go, and I'm going to put it on now, and that'll be cooking, and I'll start doing the other ingredients. The Remoska's now on. Right, okay. What I've done now is chopped up 1 onion, say an inch, a stick and a half of celery, and I've got here some bacon lardons. I was thinking about chorizo, to be honest, but bacon lardons will do. And I've got there fat leaf parsley, which goes in at the end. I've also in here, I put a pinch of fennel seeds, and I put, say, about, I don't know, 8 or so black peppercorns, which I crunch because it'll go it'll go in the sauce and give that tiny little bit of bite to it, which I think will be quite nice. And also over here I've got a small bottle of white wine, which I'm going to put in and reduce. I was thinking about a fish stock, but I'm decided against that, so that's what I'm going with, and we'll see what it turns out like. Right, this has been in the Remoska about 40 minutes. I think I don't know if you can see it from there. I'll bring it over and show you. It's there. I'd have liked a little bit tinge more brown on it, but that's not bad. And I'm now going to start pushing it through the sieve. And I'm going to do a bit of that to start with, so you can see what I'm doing. Right, there's a pan underneath that. There's a sieve. Here's a spoon. I've switched this off, I think. Let me shut this off here. Make sure that Remoska, you don't touch it, you'll burn yourself instantly. Right, and then what you do is you take out of that the tomatoes bit by bit, and then you squeeze it through. Really, I think I needed more tomatoes, but I didn't have any, so this was it. I will have to do make do what I got. Right, that's that. You can always open a can of tomatoes, I suppose. That's it. Now I'm taking more. There you go. It's going through. There's a finer sieve in this one, if you wanted it. So it's gone through. I'll take some more tomatoes. That's all the tomatoes, but I'll take the oil from there in a minute and pour that in. And slowly it gets through. So that's all of it done. There's only pulp left now. Let's see what's in there. And you can see that in there. There. I'm going to take the oil and push it through, and the garlic. So that should be okay. Mash the garlic and things through it. Right, there is, I don't know, the tomato sauce really, which get a bit more would be added with the wine, be reduced a bit, so it will be a bit better sauce. You know, you just, if you're doing other, you can add a bit of chicken, fish stock if you wanted to, if you've got some in the fridge. Anyway, there we go. Right, so I'm going to move this out of the way. And put this pot to one side. Get that out of the way. There. That's that done. Right, this pan goes on. I'm now going to start the frying, and I'll start it off and you'll be able to see what happens in a minute. So let's put that there. Right, so I'll move the sauce out of the way. Right, I'm going to start the 7. Right, I'll come back to that once that's ready to. This is not gas, so I can't do it straight away. Right, I've thrown the onions and bacon in together. The idea is to soften this. The oil's cooled down because of the amount of material in there, so I have to turn it up a little bit and then turn it down once it gets to frying temperature. I suspect with meat being what it is now, there's going to be a lot of liquid come off and have to be rinsed off. Anyway, I'll do that now and then come back to it. Right, now I'm throwing in the garlic and the celery. I did two bits of garlic there, roughly chopped. I'm also putting in the black ground pepper, which is, well, not black ground pepper. I crushed the peppercorns, give it a little bit of crunch in the sauce. I've turned down the heat a little bit now, so everything should soften fairly well. And there's still a lot left in here, so I'm going to cheat a little bit to get that out of the bottom there. Let's give this a few minutes yet. I'll have to remember to write the recipe down because I'll check to see how much bacon I put in there. I don't know, I have to check. Do that a little while. Bacon's been going in there. I've just added the celery, about 10 minutes or so I suppose. Now I've got here the wine, but because I noticed that in the ground in this mortar, the pestle and mortar there's a little bit of wine left, so a little bit of black pepper left, so I'm going to pour that in there. Tiny little bottle of wine. And now what I've got to do is I've got to bring this around. I need to reduce the wine by about a half. And then add the sauce and everything else and be ready really. At the moment that's in there, so we let the wine reduce. So the way I do it is I look at I take this anything really, and I look at where it is. I can see it's about a centimetre up, and then when I check it later on, I'll see look half a centimetre. I know that I've lost about half. So there you go. So we'll leave it there to do its business, and I'll come back to it. I'm also adding, I'm making up as I go along really. I'm also adding a teaspoon of Italian herbs. Any mixed herbs will do really. I think that's right. You could in fact add a bit of chilli flake if you want to give it a zip. Why not? But I do enough curries and things, so something that isn't curried would be a good plan. So it's still doing that now. See, it's still got a fair way to go yet. see now, if I put that in, it's reduced quite a lot. It's probably a third now, so it's getting pretty close to a half. I think probably that might be enough. Let me just have a look. Yeah, right, that's reduced quite a lot now. I'm now going to add the sauce, which is here. It's better. If I'd used Creetho, it might have been better still. You can simmer up now, bring it to a simmer. Right, that's there. And now I'm going to add over here, I've got the spaghetti rolling, 9 minutes. So I'm going to put that in there now. Spaghetti in there. In fact, I need to have the spaghetti going. It's 9 minutes according to the instructions. You'll have to, there's no magic to this spaghetti. You got to follow the instructions on the packet unless you make it yourself, which I don't. Right, that's now brought up to a temperature. I'm now going to add the fish. Right, what I've done, I put just a tablespoon of water in there just to use up the bottom of the tomato juice. That's in there like that. And now I'm going to add this, which is the fish. Of course, it's all cooked, you see, so it's not uncooked. If it was uncooked, well, I think it may be a bit uncooked. But anyway, yeah, I think it is uncooked looking. I thought it was actually cooked. But anyway, you've got to look at the prawns. Once the prawns turn pink, you know they're cooked. So that's in there now. I'm going to say, of course, you can add a little bit of chili flakes, which I think would be quite nice. But as I say, I cook a lot of chilies and curries, so that's it. So that's got to come up to a temperature. I've also got in here now some parsley, which I've chopped. Obviously it's fish, shellfish, so parsley goes. Parsley in there. Quite tasty, this. Anyway, homemade tomatoes, sauce, bit of imagination, and there you go. We'll have that in due course, and I'll give you the verdict later. Well, I'll give you the verdict. It looks wonderful.